Hi, Keith here for Liberty Solutions. Today we're discussing the Constitution Day group formed on Florida's Treasure Coast to volunteer teach the U.S. Constitution in local schools. The group is made up of liberty-minded people who are educating the next generation on the Constitution from the founders' view. Constitution Day is each September 17th. All schools which receive federal funds are mandated to teach the Constitution each September 17th to all students by Federal Public Law 108-477. The 2004 legislation requires that each institution, quote, shall hold an educational program on September 17th for all students. They have to teach the Constitution. Many schools don't follow this law. Does your kid's school do it? We meet regularly in the months leading up to Constitution Day discussing how to bring the message to the youth, how to get into the schools, and how to critique each other's presentations so as to refine them. Donna Tabiri coordinates most of our activities and was part of starting the group up. So Donna, please tell us how the group formed and some of the challenges you had getting started.
We started from a town hall meeting where one person asked me, and I said yes, but I don't know enough about the Constitution. I'm going to have to learn, which we all go through. And from that town hall meeting, talking to other people at subsequent town hall meetings, people came forward and said, yeah, we're interested in doing this. And we all realized we needed to develop our own education about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence.
So, like some of the people were reached through Convention of States or one of the state directors, but some of the people were teachers that you knew because they were school teachers.
When we started with people from different backgrounds, and it's fortunate that there were school teachers there. So if you're thinking of starting, you might select, go to different people by interest, but find out if there are teachers, because they can be very valuable to the group. But you do not have to be a teacher to do this. You do not. You have to have the desire to take this information to the next generation.
So how would you suggest a new group, like for people that are thinking about doing this, like how do you start up a group?
Well, you have to start together and work on your own education, and then simultaneously start asking people you know if they're teachers or if they're administrators in schools, public, private. We are in public schools, private schools, and Christian schools, and talk to them. Tell them what you are doing. Tell them you have something to bring to their classroom specifically for Constitution Day, and you'll be surprised how many people are interested. You might feel afraid, I have to ask them this, and I don't know, but they're interested. There are more people interested out there than you think.
And last question, like how do you get into the schools?
Well, if you're talking to a teacher, tell them what you're doing and let them put it on their calendar, and you go on September 17th. If you're talking to an administrator, the same thing. You have to build relationships with people. You may have to talk to them more than once. We had one teacher who went into a school that she wanted to go to, and she gave them her entire presentation, the associate principal and two history teachers, and they said, come on in. They were excited. So there's interest out there. But everyone on the team has to be asking. Everyone has to be asking people that they know.
So in some schools you can get in by asking the teacher, and the teacher makes the initiative or just does it.
Right. She
But other
invites you to
schools,
come as a guest.
you have to go through the administration, like the principal or superintendent has to be involved. Maybe even the county administration might have to be involved.
It depends. You'll find that out when you talk to the teacher or the administrator.
Like it's
Some of the teachers just can invite you as a guest for one day. They may introduce you to their administrative staff, and you have to talk to them, which is you're a guest in their house, so to speak, and you have to go by their rules.
All right. Well, thanks, Donna. It's been great.
You're welcome. Do it. You can do it.
Y'all can do it.
Yeah.
Chris and Bella are COS Action district captains, and they guest taught the last 2 years on Constitution Day. This year, they dressed up and performed a song for the children as part of their teaching. So, Chris, tell us about how you made the presentation and how all of us put our presentations together.
Well, we first started out just having meetings here in the living room, and we all have our different ideas, and we started out trying to do a bulk project for everybody, and we tried doing a Google Doc, and that didn't seem to work out very well. I mean, some people inputted their information. They say, if you have an idea, put it on the Google Doc. Ended up, I did that, but I said, I'm going to just try to do my own thing in the meantime. I'll still do that. And then it kind of morphed into everybody just doing their own presentation. And we said, well, let's see what we have at the end of this. And once we had it, we went through everybody's presentation and critiqued everybody's. Right here in this living room, we have it up on screen there. If there's a PowerPoint presentation, if there's not a PowerPoint presentation, it's just verbal, that's fine too. And we all pretend like we're the children, and we ask the questions, the appropriate questions that children would ask, and we try to do our best to answer them earnestly. And that's basically
So I
it.
think it worked out good for me that I made my own presentation. It's easier, for me to present something that I did myself. So,
Mhm.
and it was really interesting seeing the different flavors because everybody had a lot different take on what
Yeah,
they did.
They
So
did, yeah, and that's important too because there's lots of different types of children out there. I mean, you've got ages from first grade all the way up to 10th grade that we taught, so they can't all be the same blanket presentation for everybody. And a lot of times, what we do is we just basically study the Constitution throughout the whole year because none of us know it all the way through as much as we should. So we know that, so we make sure that we get ourselves as informed as possible, and then we. Then we have something to teach the children. We make our presentations, but they're mostly just for us. They're for our benefit more than the children because if we know what we're talking about, that helps the children.
yeah, I used
learn,
mine
so.
as like notes more.
Mhm,
They were
yeah.
like bullets of mostly
Yeah.
questions.
Mhm.
And, I got surprised because I originally wrote it for high school seniors, which is what I wanted to teach.
Mhm.
But then this year I taught 6th and 7th grade. So it's like I got the same slides, but I got to think through, like, how do I
Mhm.
talk to a 6th grader?
Right, and the group's going to pull you in different directions too. That's
All
what's
right.
important.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome.
Rich and Evelyn taught 8th grade together dressed as Thomas Jefferson and Abigail Adams, two of my heroes. Rich, what did the students think of your outfits?
Well, we had the advantage of the visual aid, and it doesn't hurt that they think that the presenters are a little crazier than they are. But actually, it grabbed their attention right away, and it naturally it seemed to us. We saw the wheels turning, and naturally, the questions began to pop into their mind. Why are they dressed that way? Who are they? And why are they here? So they were motivated and stimulated from the beginning. It was
fun.
quite effective.
Makes it fun. So what would you tell people that are thinking of teaching next year on Constitution Day that haven't started a group yet?
Not to be afraid of what you know, what you don't know, because we're here to support each other as a group. We've been blessed to have many different backgrounds. I happen to be a teacher. My wife is a teacher. But many of us have different sources of knowledge that we kind of pool together, and we do it cooperatively.
I know it helped me a lot. I'm not a teacher. I'm an engineer. So it helped me a lot to have a couple teachers in the group to critique my presentation. So you told me a bunch of stuff. Like when you're talking to a kid, this is the way you got to say it.
Yeah, not just from experience, but you have experience and depth of knowledge in the content, which, as a teacher, I didn't have particularly in depth, but I did learn, and we made it our own, and we got input and output from what we came together with, and it worked out beautifully. Don't be afraid to make it your own. That's what I would say.
All right. Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Betty Jo taught 400 students on Constitution Day in 6 classrooms. So, Betty, what do you think will happen if we don't do this?
Well, each day that passes that these youth don't learn about the Constitution and to love their country is an opportunity missed to have people that actually want to carry on the American values and traditions that our founding fathers presented to us. It just scares me to see what they're being taught and what they're not being taught, and the revisionist history they're being taught, and the half-truths. They don't even realize that we are a constitutional republic. Some of them are taught that we're a democracy. And so just it's got to point out how simple the whole Constitution is and show them the book, show them the Constitution, and to explain to them why was there a declaration. These are the rules to live by. And we've got to remain aware and vigilant and moral and virtuous. Otherwise, we will end up like Venezuela or who knows what, because many forces are trying to take this founding document away from us, and they see us as illegitimately founded. So it's up to good citizens to get up off the couch and to, if good people stand by and do nothing, then we will definitely lose what everybody's fought for. So I do it to see the spark in their eye. That's what I do.
Yeah, it was great. And yeah, Donna gave Betty the title of MVP for getting 400 students in one day.
One of the things we do, Keith, when we're talking to teachers and administrators is let them know that we have raised money. We have individual donation service groups in the community to purchase constitutions. So every student will receive a copy of the Declaration of the Constitution on their own for themselves. And we have known that students, by teachers' reports, that they hang on to these and they go back and they read them and they ask questions about them, never having seen a complete Declaration of Independence, Constitution of the United States ever before in their lifetime. So this is what we go into the classroom with.
And when I just cleaned out a bunch of old stuff, and I had my 8th grade graduation, and I looked at the diploma, and inside there was a copy of the U.S. Constitution and the New Jersey Constitution. So like back when I graduated, I think the schools had a different attitude on this.
Absolutely they did. And there's a story I will never forget of one young student from Venezuela who kept this in his backpack the entire school year. And the teacher said, when he asked a question later in the year in their history class, she said, let's get out the copy of the Constitution, look it up. He opened his backpack, pulled it out, and it was right there. He held on to it. It had tremendous meaning for him. He had his own copy.
He came from Venezuela, so he can see, what Betty was talking about. What happens if you don't understand this? He's seen it himself.
Absolutely. He's seen horrible things in Venezuela.
All
Absolutely.
right. Thanks.
Okay.
We the people.
We the people.
In order to form,
a more perfect union.
Establish justice.
ensure domestic tranquility,
provide for the common defense,
Promote the general welfare.
and secure the blessings of liberty.
And secure the blessings of liberty.
To ourselves and our posterity.
to ordain and establish this Constitution.
Do ordain and establish this Constitution.
The question facing us and facing our fellow countrymen is a two-word question, very simply, who decides? The American founders had a simple answer: we, the people, decide.